Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We've so far got seven people on the session. Hi.
Hi, Larissa.
How are you doing?
You all right? How are you?
Good, thank you. Yeah, have
Thanks
we
for
let
joining.
everybody in?
Yeah, I've just let a few in. I think we have, how many we got there? Two, four, six, no,
Few
eight.
more.
I think we were expecting around 20 odd, 25. So we'll give it a few more moments before we crack
Amazing.
on.
Fab. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Welcome everybody. Really excited for you all joining the session today. We're going to be talking through the Blackbullion system, giving you a little introduction, walkthrough with myself, as well as some application guidance and tips. So hopefully it will be a worthwhile session and you guys will all feel compelled to pop an application in afterwards for the Social Housing Scholarships Program, which we're very excited to be working with the Clarion and other housing associations alongside the program. So we might give it one more minute. I'm thinking we've got a few on the call already. Thank you all for joining. We'll just see if we can get a couple more in before we kickstart.
Do you have slides to share, Larissa? I presume you do.
I do. If
In
you could
how I
give
give you
me,
the.
if you go over, you should be able to give me host access, which will allow me to share my screen.
I've got host tools at the bottom.
Yeah, so if you go into participants, you'll see my name, and there is a little, when you hover over my name, there's a more button. You should be able to give me host access.
Got a couple more.
Fabulous. Welcome everyone who is joining. We're just getting the technology sorted, as always, is
Yeah.
the fun part.
So our participants at the bottom.
Yeah, so click on participants.
Yeah.
Then you'll see a list of names. Hi, Jason. On the
Hello.
right, you'll see my name, Larissa Eddy. You'll go to the More button, and you should be able to make me host from there, and I can share my
I've
slide.
just got invite and copy link. Let's see if I can do it over here. More. Make host. Here we go.
Fabulous. Amazing. All right,
That
everybody.
worked.
That's perfect. I'll just
Fantastic.
admit people as we go.
Thank you.
Really excited for the session today, guys. I just want to make sure we've got the recording in place. Fabulous. Okay, we're going to start. So we've got a few people with us. Really excited. It's lovely to meet you all. Thanks for joining the session today. I know everyone is busy at the moment, so really appreciate the time. I'm just going to share my slides so we can kickstart. Today we're here to talk about the Social Housing Scholarship Program. Very excited to chat through applications. I just want to make sure you're able to see my screen. Okay, fabulous. So a little introduction to myself. If you weren't part of the first session we ran, my name is Larissa. I'm the corporate manager here at Blackbullion. I work with all corporate partners to run scholarship programs. And one of those is the social housing scholarships alongside social housing organizations who've gotten involved this year. We're very excited by the program. And so hopefully today I can answer any questions. Please feel free to drop them in the chat as I go or come off mute and feel free to ask anything as and when. Happy to just jump in and answer that. So if anyone doesn't know who we are, I'm just going to give a brief overview to Blackbullion as an organization. So we are the UK's leading financial wellbeing platform. We host the UK's largest hub of support funds, scholarships, and grants. We work with over 75 plus university colleges and businesses. We know what we're doing in this space, and we have over 450,000 young people within our system. And we're very proud to say that we work with some amazing organizations that you can see on the right. And essentially, we want to enable transparent, efficient, and measurable funding programs to help young people like yourselves attend and enable their future. So that's what our goals are. So we're sort of market pioneers in the space. We're trusted. We essentially, when we first started, there was no real scholarship culture in the UK. I think when we first began, there was around £2 million in the whole of the UK being given out in scholarship programs. Alone, we run almost £1 million in scholarship funding each year. So over the last sort of 3-4 years, we've been running programs. We've delivered over £3 million in scholarship funding. So we're really proud to launch this campaign alongside National Scholarships Week, which was a few weeks ago now. Essentially, we get all our businesses to launch scholarships throughout that window. And the role and opportunity is really for young people to get the funding to make sure there are no financial barriers for them to go into education. So that's why we are here. So we're going to jump straight into just a brief overview of the scholarship fund. I'm not sure how many have already had a look, have started applications, at what stage you are. Please feel free to drop it in the chat if you're happy to share where you are in that stage, if you've had a look at it. But the program itself is fantastic. So it's really there to help those who are in social housing residencies in England. We're looking for those that have confirmed or unconfirmed, in this case, place on an undergraduate degree starting or continuing in September 2026. We really want to just see motivation, potential, and commitment. It's not about grades. You don't have to be getting, A stars. We really just want to make sure we're reaching those who feel they have potential, and that funding would act as a barrier in order to achieve that potential. So we're looking for drive, ambition, and a willingness to learn and grow. There's a little bit more information there, but we are going to go into the actual fund page and I'll review the full information with you in a little while. But that's just a brief overview on eligibility and what we're trying to do with the fund. Now, again, we will be going into this in a lot more detail. We're going to walk through the full application together today, but the 3 questions I want you to start thinking about alongside your sort of general demographic information that we'll ask, as well as, course, eligibility, etc. We tend to ask a few long form questions as part of the program. Apologies, just admitting someone. So we ask 3 long form questions as part of your application. Now, this is all based on building a profile on who you are, what your aspirations are, what can this scholarship do for you. So the first question we're going to ask, and again, we'll review this in more detail, is please tell us about your personal background and experiences and how living in social housing has shaped your journey to university. So essentially your relationship with social housing, any challenges faced, really important we understand where you're coming from. The second question, what difference would receiving the scholarship make to you during your time at university? And the last question, looking ahead, what are your aspirations after university and how do you hope to use your degree to make a positive impact? So as you can see, these are really intentional questions based to build a profile around your background, what you faced and circumstances, what this scholarship will do for you while you go into education, what you're hoping to achieve. And then lastly, again, your future aspirations and how this will make a positive impact. With a key here, I would really recommend focusing on your local communities or your family. Really, the people that you feel that this will help the most and will have the most impact on will be an important mention. So again, we will go into this in more detail in a moment when I'm going to take you into the system to have a look at everything. So in terms of assessment, just to review what this program looks like, it's £18,000 per student across 3 years of study. It's £6,000 per year, which will be given to students in installments. So simply you'll submit your applications through our system. Blackbullion will be managing this whole process. So you'll need to include an SLC, so your student loan entitlement. We're really interested in your maintenance loan because that can tell us how much actual support you're getting. And again, we need that conditional or unconditional offer of a university place so we can make sure we're helping those that are going into university. Now, Blackbullion will then review applications for eligibility alongside the eligibility criteria, which again, we'll look at in more detail, and your long form responses with those questions we discussed. Shortlisted candidates will then be notified. All other applications will be closed at that stage. So we hope there'll be really good communication with you all and you'll be offered additional support. So through Blackbullion, you'll get access obviously to our pre-existing financial education packages. I'll be sharing some additional resources in terms of funding opportunities, as well as some personal providers that we recommend. that can help you with some side hustles, some part-time work, some ways of making money on the side. That can also help as well. So the top 20 candidates in this case will be invited for a 20-minute interview. Within those interviews, again, we will do some more sessions around what that interview includes, but really it's just to get an idea of who you are. We'll ask some questions that align to the scholarship fund in terms of your background, why you're applying for the scholarship, etc. And it'll just be really to find out a little bit more about yourself and put a face behind the application. So it'll be really informal. I don't want you to worry about the interviews at all. It will be a simple conversation and there will be no critical stage at that point. It's just to find out more about yourself. Now, from that, final 7 candidates for this year will be running this program again next year. Will be selected, notified, and unsuccessful candidates will be informed at that stage. Then the contacts will be shared with our housing organisation partners, who will then be on to help support the successful students with additional opportunities. We hope for mentoring, work experience, and other ways in which we can help you get the most from this relationship with the organisation. And then, of course, you'll also receive your scholarship funding in those instalments, which will be confirmed with you upon your success of the scholarship. So that's a little bit around how this process is going to work. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I know it can feel a little bit intimidating if this is your first time completing a scholarship application and process. So I want to make sure I'm here as a resource to answer any questions you may have. Now, in terms of application best practice, so just some tips from myself and from the Blackbullion team. So some do's and don'ts. Do please check the eligibility rules and guidance before applying. You want to make sure that you're not wasting your time and that you're actually eligible to apply. Make sure you apply early. So the scholarship fund is live now. We do tend to look at applications as they come. So the earlier you can supply information and submit your application, the better. Just helps us answer any queries. If we need to get more information from yourself, it speeds up the process. So please do make sure to submit as comfortable as you are as early as possible. Now, make sure you're tailoring each application to the specific scholarship. You have no idea how many students come in and sort of copy paste their answers for every scholarship. We really do hope there is intention behind your reason for applying. We want to make sure it's relevant for the business and yourself, and in this case, the social housing organization. So please do make sure you're tailoring it. And in that case as well, make sure you're sharing your personal story. So a lot of the scholarship is built around who you are. We want to make sure we're reaching the right people who can be ambassadors, who come from a background where we can really make an impact in your life. So making sure that you share your story will allow us to hear your goals and your aspirations and really increase the narrative around your application. Highlight achievements, leadership, volunteering, awards, any sort of collaboration projects you've done at school. If you're a big art person and you love doing art and pursue hobbies on the side, please feel free to include them as well. Again, they all give context to who you are as a person. We're interested in you. We want to find out more about you. So please feel free to share achievements or personal sort of preferences or things you enjoy doing. That makes it really personable, which we love to read. Proofread carefully, making sure that you draft. I think someone might be. If you could please make sure you're on mute, please, everybody. So making sure that we proofread our answers, making sure that they read correctly, that they're saying what we want them to say. Simple little things like just making sure our grammar is correct. And again, if you are struggling and you need some support with proofreading or anything like that, please don't hesitate to reach out. I will supply an email at the end of the session. You can reach out. I'm happy to review or give any guidance and additional support. So please don't feel like you're alone in this process. We're here to help you at every step of the way. And be honest and authentic in your writing. I know we say authenticity a lot, it's sort of a buzzword, but it is truly, truly what we want to see. We want to see you. We want to make sure that we're hearing from yourself and your story. So some don'ts here. Don't miss the deadline. There are a lot of students who leave it to the last minute to submit applications and sadly miss the opportunity. We only will extend and have extenuating circumstances for those who really, really need it. For most people, they just miss the deadline. and we really don't want you missing out. So please make sure that you mark it in your calendar. You will get notifications from Blackbullion encouraging you to submit your application throughout the process, but if you can make sure you submit early, you won't need to worry about the deadline. Don't copy and paste the same essay. Yeah, and what I said earlier, please make sure to tailor each application. We do read a lot of applications, but I tend to see if one student is responding the same to everyone. Don't exaggerate or make up achievements either. We want to hear your story, who you are. Nothing is too small or too big. You know, if you have a passion for sport, make sure you include that. Make it just you. Don't ignore spelling and grammar. Don't submit rushed or incomplete applications. That's another big one. So some students will start the written pieces and then not quite finish them, but because of deadline, they submit anyway, and it just it doesn't look very good. So if you can make sure that you put the time in, submit early, you should have no issues with any of these. And don't forget that the scholarship reviewers want to see the real you at the end of the day, and I will keep saying that because it's one of the most important things. And as well, try and bring back to the brand and the organization that are supporting you, in this case social housing. Think about the values behind social housing, community, and making sure that we're including that and being really thoughtful in our answers. So AI, now that is a big, big question when it comes to applications. Oh, apologies, we've got a few questions. So I'm going to jump straight into the chat and see if I can jump on these now. How competitive is this scholarship in terms of total applicants? I would say that it's relatively competitive. However, due to the nature of the program, we're looking for very deliberate people, young people that we want to support. So I know you're probably looking at other programs where they're saying they got thousands of applicants and it's quite complicated in order to have a chance. I wouldn't say we're at that volume. We're very, very critical in terms of making sure that we're reaching the right people. So please, please don't feel like the competitive nature should be a reason not to apply. You'd be surprised how many people miss out. So I really would encourage you to still apply. It's definitely worth a shot. Does the 18K cover the full cost for the degree tuition fees? So this is acting as a maintenance top up for young people. So it'll be the 6,000 per year. If you choose to use that to save and put towards your tuition fees, that is up to you. However, this is really meant to cover the rent, to cover the bills, the things that end up taking a lot of the toll on young people while they're at university, even food, energy, that sort of thing, the things that where you would have to get lots of part-time work in order to cover the costs, because the maintenance loan sadly it just doesn't do enough. The idea for this scholarship would be to help with cover those bits. What if you applied and got your offer with a uni and your student fine is accepted but you don't get accepted for the scholarship? So if you got an offer with a university and your student finance is accepted, you're all good to go. The scholarship simply acts as another layer. So we would expect that most students would still have their student loan entitlement. The idea would be for this to support and help with those fees. You're still able to take your full loan entitlement and take this on top. This really is free money designed to support you across maintenance, in terms of the additional support with networking and work experience and the opportunity to connect with these organizations that are there to support you. I'm slightly confused what the scholarship program main focus is. Is it funding to help towards students getting into housing ladder and to have affordable housing? No, this is simply for students from social housing backgrounds who are looking to go into education at university and who would otherwise struggle to afford so. So that's the simple basis of the program. It acts as, a top up, and it's really designed to help support with those, those bills, the things that, end up being taking a real financial toll and can sometimes be the reason why young people drop out of university, which we don't want. So hopefully that gives a little bit of clarity around that. I'm applying to a psychology degree and I'm interested in the intersect with social housing and community well-being. Would my application still be acceptable? Yes, definitely. That sounds like a really interesting focus. I would definitely put your application in as part of your long form questions. I would be making sure to include that as a real focus. Anything that can have a lens in regards to social housing and community will be really fondly looked upon. So definitely would still recommend popping in that application. That sounds really, really interesting. So we look forward to hearing more, hopefully. Okay, guys, that should be all the questions so far. But again, please feel free to drop them in the chat. There will be, Jenny, really good question around, is there a suggested word count for the question and answers? When we go through the application process, it will, I'll be able to show you in more detail what the expectations are. there. So we'll go back to the conversation around AI. So this is a really, really interesting one. Most people, young people like yourselves, go to AI as an initial source. It's quite sad to see the number of just pure copy and pasted AI answers we get these days. Really, I would discourage that as much as possible. AI can definitely be a powerful tool, and we can encourage you to use it, but in the right way. So your essay needs to still sound like you. Your answers still need to have an authentic voice behind them. They can really start to sound very generic, as you can imagine. The sort of the ongoing joke around, you can tell when something is written by AI with the dashes and the sort of American sort of language. So it can really feel just depersonalized. We want to, obviously, again, I'll reiterate your real experience, goals, and personality. So some good ways to use AI, and this is really important. Brainstorming ideas, starting points. If you need some support on how to put your sort of thoughts together, how it can help with some sort of structure, absolutely, that's what it's there for. But in terms of that final piece that you're going to submit, please make sure that's in your own sort of words and thoughts. Again, making an outline, a really good use of AI, checking grammar and spelling. Not everyone has resource to people who can help with reviewing, so please feel free to use it for that case. Making sure that the language is still your own. It can help with writer's block. Sometimes it's just not knowing where to start or where to go with it. Again, it's a good tool for that. Essentially, AI should support you with your writing and not do it all for you. And using too much AI can make it feel copied. And then lastly, being honest, personal, and specific makes your application stronger. So please be careful. For a funny anecdote, last year for a scholarship application, we had one long form answer that started with ChatGPT says. So as you can tell, some people do not spend any time looking at that. They obviously, sadly, were not considered for the scholarship. So please, I cannot reiterate enough, please use AI responsibly when looking to your applications. Common mistakes when writing scholarship applications. Again, missing that deadline, not following the instructions properly, using the same application, too general or vague. We want details. AI generated content, forgetting to proofread, leaving out important achievements or experiences, submitting incomplete, not asking for feedback, and giving up after one rejection. So this is the last point, is the most important one here. We have so many programs that we run. I really want to reiterate, if you apply to as many as you can and you feel you're eligible for, you might get rejected, but please don't take that as there's no opportunity out there for you. There will be other ways in which we can engage with Clarion through stories and hopefully advice and finding out more about the industry at large. So please don't feel that the rejection is like the end. There is always more opportunity out there. Blackbullion is here as a resource for you, as well as I know Clarion will also, be more than willing to support in terms of guidance. So please don't take the rejection as the end. There is a lot more opportunity, and I encourage you to apply for as much as you can and just make the most of it. So we're going to look at the fund now and the scholarship application process. I'm just going to quickly check if there's any more questions in the chat. Bachelor of Science degree, Information Technology, and Professional Teaching Certificate. Oh, okay. Interesting, Joseph. I'm going to be going through the eligibility now, so we'll keep an eye out for that one. If someone comes from private rented accommodation, but now with your employment, they would not be eligible. Sadly, not in this case, unless you're coming from a social housing background. This scholarship is not for you, but in your case, we have so many other scholarships that would be relevant. So please do go to the Funding Hub and check it out. We've got quite a few linked to National Scholarships Week at the moment. So please do check them out and make sure you apply for as many as you can. So we're going to quickly go on to the funding page to review together. So we're going to go have a little bit more clarity around the eligibility criteria. So actually what we're going to do first, I'm going to show you how to navigate Blackbullion. So when you log in and register with Blackbullion, this is what the system will look like for you. We have loads of funds and categories here that you'll be able to view. In this case, we're going to navigate through to corporate scholarship, because this is one of our corporate scholarships that we're working on. You can also use the lovely National Scholarships Week filter, which will help you find the fund as well, but I'll also be sharing the direct link, so you can feel free to use that as well. And there's the lovely Social Housing Scholarships Program. So we call these fund tiles. You'll be able to navigate. It'll show you the organization. You're able to report if you've got any issues, but we're able to just click through onto the fund tile, and this will take you to the fund page, which is what we're going to have a look at now. So if you do want to just have a look at this but come back to it later, you're able to click Save Fund. That will give you reminders if the fund is closing, and if you need some more information, that will help you out so you can come back and navigate a lot easier. So please feel free to save the fund. Now, at the top of the funding page, we give you AI guidance. So we have a full blog and article around how to best use AI when writing your application. So please do check that out there if you need some more support. Essentially, we've got some more information around the program. So it's an ambitious new initiative that supports residents to succeed at university and build meaningful careers. It unlocks potential pathways to opportunities in community investment, research, property management, development, finance, IT, data, marketing, and more, helping people grow while strengthening local communities. So again, you can see here there's a real theme around communities. So whether you're finishing school, college, changing careers, or returning to study later in life, this program offers financial support, real-world experience, and access to a diverse network of professionals who want to see you succeed. So again, I think there was a question around age. There are no blockers here. I would still encourage you to make sure you submit that application. So in terms of it's currently open, it opened on the 24th of April. The deadline for this will be the 5th of July at midnight. Again, I would encourage you to submit earlier than that, but if you are looking and you're busy, please make sure before the 5th of July you have that submitted. So just a little bit more about the fund. This fund is in partnership with MTVH, Peabody, L&Q, Riverside, Places for People, Hyde Group, and Fusion 21, and of course led by the lovely Clarion Futures, are working alongside ourselves. And it's designed to remove financial and practical barriers that can make higher education harder to access and navigate. So what you're going to receive, you'll receive the £6,000 per year, and it's really to support daily living costs. It's designed to ease financial pressure and give you greater stability so you can focus on your studies and make the most of university life. You will complete at least one paid summer internship during your course, hosted by a housing organization or partner organization. They're going to provide practical experience to build confidence and insight into working life and professional networks before you graduate. So we're really giving you the experience early so you're ready to apply for future roles. Now, mentoring and personal development, this is my favorite bit. A lot of our programs offer this, and I think it's just fabulous to layer on top of the financial support. So each scholar will be matched with a mentor. You can talk about your academic progress, career planning, personal growth. You can also take part in group sessions, workshops, and networking events focused on leadership and professional development. This will give you clarity, direction, and confidence to take your next steps and really to gain experience from those within the sector who can help you build that career. Volunteering opportunities will also be tailored and offered to your interests and career goals, helping you build skills, networks, and community connections. So really, we're here to bolster that CV, give you some extra financial support, and help you through education. So now we go into requirements. So whether you're first in your family, planning to go to university, balancing study with work, or unsure whether traditional scholarships are for you, this program is open to residents of any age and recognizes that your real-world experience is a strength and not a disadvantage. This program supports people like you who understand their communities, helping you succeed at university and build a career with purpose that makes a real difference locally and beyond. So you can apply if you are a social housing resident in England, you're paying local UK domestic tuition fees, you hold a confirmed place, firm or unconditional, to start or continue an undergraduate degree in September of this year. You commit to engaging with mentoring, development, and internships. You show motivation, potential, and commitment, and you'll be studied a degree aligned to the program's focus, which is housing, built environment, community linked, or career that can support these program themes. So again, just to reiterate, academic results are not the main selection criteria. We're looking for drive, ambition, and a willingness to learn. So in terms of degrees that would be supported, we're looking for, and these are just examples. We know some degrees will still be relevant that are a little bit more broad. So please don't take this as the be all end all. Really, vocational degrees are not supported here, like medicine or science based, sort of outside the scope, but a lot of others can align as long as there's sort of a housing community element. So please do feel free to reach out. Again, I'll supply my email at the end if it's more specific. But these are some examples of degrees that are linked to the program: housing and property, construction and building safety, sustainability and environmental management, IT and digital services, finance, procurement and project management, community engagement and customer services, business management and leadership, asset management and surveying, architecture and urban planning, and real estate and development. But again, there are some wider other options, but these are sort of some guidance around what type of programs we're looking for. Now, if you fit all those categories, then please go through and submit your application. We do have some special considerations. Again, these are not base eligibility. This is not mandatory. This is just so you're aware of other categories that we would consider for prioritization, but you don't need to meet these points to apply. So we're looking for residents of partner housing associations tied to the scholarship, students interested in careers linked to housing or communities, students who are first in their family to go to university. So that would be of your generation. As long as your parents have not gone to university, you would be classed. If your siblings are going to university, that's fine. As long as it's not your parents' generation or before them, you would still count as first in family. And students from low-income households. So this is more around your maintenance fees, and we're just making sure we're targeting those who really need the support. So by the end of the program, scholars will have reduced financial pressure, professional experience in your CV, including evidence of practical hands-on experience within the housing sector, and clearer career direction and confidence to take the next step after graduation. So really, you'll become a role model in your community and help shape a more inclusive future workforce, and your personal insights and perspective offer valuable understanding of how homes and services are delivered. So we're hoping through this program to invest in your potential and support you to build a meaningful career that brings resident-focused insight into the housing sector. So that's sort of an overview of the program. I'm going to quickly jump back into Zoom and see if there's been any questions that have popped up in the chat. Eligibility requirements for international students. Sadly, this won't be eligible for international students. We do have some additional support for internationals, so please do feel free to reach out if you need some additional guidance around applying through the funding hub as well. We have many international opportunities as well, so please feel free to check that out. How is a scholarship paid to you? Can I choose any uni, or am I limited to certain options? No. So it's paid through our Blackbullion system. You will be asked to share your bank account details upon submitting your application. So if you are successful, you will be essentially rewarded your funding through us, and it will be given in installments so that we can help you make sure that money gets stretched and helps you throughout the year. And no, it's not tied to any universities. As long as it's a UK university, you will be eligible. Amazing. I'm going to jump into the actual application so we can have a look together. Hopefully you'll be able to see this clearly. Fantastic. Again, please let me know if there's any issues or if you have any questions as we go. Amazing. So we're going to walk through the application now and what to expect. The first part you'll see is check your eligibility. So you'll be asked to essentially download this guidance document. It will supply more information. It looks like this. So you can see that it provides some additional context to the program, what you'll receive, who the program is targeting. The really key part of this guidance document is essentially the long-term vision for the program, so you can see what we're hoping to achieve through this, and also again FAQs. So some questions that you have might be already answered through the guidance document, so please do feel free to download this as you go and just have a read to see if any of your questions are already answered here. So part of the application will be making sure that you are saying, I meet the eligibility criteria and I am ready to start my application. Now, the first question you will get asked is what university you're planning on attending. In this case, you'll be searching for your institution. So this can be any organization that you have a conditional or unconditional offer for. I'm just putting Blackbullion in for this case as a placeholder. Okay, it doesn't want to work for me today. Apologies. I'm doing this on the back end as a test. So, but you would essentially put in your university there. Again, if you have any issues, we also have a chatbot feature that takes you straight to our support people who are ready to help at any stage of your application. So next we're going to be asking what course you will be attending. In this case, we'll ask you to put in your course title and your level of study. So we are only targeting those from undergraduate courses. If you're in postgraduate, you will be asked to essentially withdraw your application. What is your mode of study? Again, this will be for full-time students, so please select full-time and continue on. The next question is what year of your course you'll be entering in September 2026. So you're able to select your course year here and it will prompt you to continue. The last part of the course details section is what is your tuition fee status? Again, we're looking for those from a UK background, so we want to see that you are selecting I'm a UK student. Now, tell us about yourself. This is some more information to build your profile. Who is your housing provider? So we've listed some here. If you are from a different organization, you simply select other and you'll be prompted to basically write out your housing provider. And then we're also asking for your postcode. So again, if you click that other button, you'll be asked to essentially list your housing provider. Now we go through some general demographic questions. These are all aligned with all of our scholarship programs. You will be asked these questions. It's just to build out an idea of who you are as an individual. So again, what option best describes your gender identity? In this case, you can always prefer not to say if you don't feel comfortable in supplying. The next question will be what option best describes your ethnic identity? Again, we've listed pretty much everything, but we do have an other section if we have not included, and as well, I prefer not to say. Again, if you click other, you will be prompted to essentially supply your ethnicity there. The next questions are linked to your social mobility status. As per the Social Mobility Commission, there are 4 questions we ask to understand your social mobility background. The first one is when you were 14, what were your parents' professions? We've listed them out here, so I'm hoping it's really straightforward. Again, if there's any questions, please reach out. Don't just sit on this. We're here to support. And again, there is option not listed. And I don't know and prefer not to say. So if you are unsure, please feel free to select that and prefer not to say. What type of school did you attend at the age of 14? Again, hopefully this is straightforward. If none of your option is not included, you can say option not listed. I don't know or prefer not to say. I will say these questions are really important for us to understand your background. So if you do feel comfortable in sharing this, I would encourage you all to complete this. It gives us the best overview of your eligibility and need for the scholarship. The next question is, were you eligible for free school meals? Again, you can opt out with prefer not to say. And lastly, are you the first person in your family to attend university? So again, as long as it's your parents or before them had not attended university, you can class yourself as the first in the family. Again, there will be an opt-out for prefer not to say. Now, we just simply ask around where you're at with your SLC entitlement. We're very aware that some of you might have only submitted your application. You might not have heard back yet, and that's completely okay. We'd still encourage you to submit your application. So you can see here, you've got different categories. You can either say, yes, I have received it, almost I've applied but not received the response, or no, I'm unable to provide. Now, if you have not applied for student entitlement because of religious reasons, there will be an opt-out button later on in the application where you can let us know. The next bit is if you choose yes, in that case that you do have your student loan entitlement, we'll ask you here to input the amount for academic year 2026 to 27. And this is your maintenance loan, not your tuition loan. Perfect. Now this is where we go into personal details. Again, we need your name, email, we need your telephone number and postcode. And this is also, we can follow up on your application. And we go into application task. So this is where we find out a little bit more about yourself. These are those 3 questions we spoke about earlier. So the first one being, please tell us about your personal background and experiences and how living in social housing has shaped your journey to university. So I've given a little bit more context here around you might want to include any challenges or barriers you faced in education or your personal life, how your housing situation has affected your opportunities, responsibilities, or choices. what has helped you to stay motivated and continue towards a higher education. And there is no right story. We're interested in your experiences and perspective. So these we say at maximum, usually around 300 words. But if you want to write a little bit more, you can. But around 300 words is the guidance here. What difference would receiving this scholarship make to you during your time at university? You could reflect on financial pressures or responsibilities, how the support would help you focus on your studies or well-being, any ways the scholarship could reduce stress, risk, or barriers during your degree. And this question helps us understand your need for support and how the scholarship could have a meaningful impact. Lastly, looking ahead, what are your aspirations after university and how do you hope to use your degree to make a positive impact? You may wish to talk about your career ambitions or long-term goals, any interest in working within communities, housing or social impact, how your background has influenced the future you want to build for yourself or others. And so we're interested in your potential and direction, not a fixed or final plan. We don't need to have, 5-year plan. Where do I want to be? If you have that, we love it. Please feel free to share. But really, this is just around finding out more about yourself. So once you go through, and again, we say around 300 words per long form question, the last stage of this application is supporting documents and evidence. So we ask in this case that you supply the student finance entitlement summary. Again, if you have issues with this, you will be able to select unable to provide, and you'll be noted with a opt-out button. When you select opt out, you will be asked to supply a reason for opting out of supplying the guidance of this document. So what you can say is circumstances, whether you've just applied, you haven't heard back, whether you cannot get the loan for religious reasons, any sort of information you can provide so we know where you're at with SLC and your relationship with that would be perfect. And then the confirmation of offer document or the conditional offer, unconditional depending. Again, that can be a screenshot of your UCAS portal. It could be a document from your university. It could be an email, anything you can provide us that is official, that gives us context to your relationship with the university, whether you are attending next year and coming back, or whether you are starting university for the first time, any way in which we can prove that you will be essentially attending university in 2026. Now, I will say, you don't need to have these finalized. When you submit your application, if things are missing, we will reach out within the system and we will ask you to update your supporting documentation. So please don't feel like you need this right now to act as a blocker to submit. We are happy to reach out and make sure that you've got all the right documentation in place. There is a warning down below saying you will not be able to add further information. This is to make sure that you are submitting as a whole of an application as you are. But I want to, in your case, just reiterate that if something is missing because of the nature of the scholarship, we will be making sure that we reach out to give you an opportunity to supply that evidence. So that will be the last stage in terms of supplying the documentation. And then the last thing is reviewing and submitting. So you'll get a final page that will show your full application with all of your information. That will all be filled out. You scroll down to the bottom and you have some declarations. So this is just making sure, once again, you are saying you meet the eligibility criteria, that you've responded to all questions relevant to the best of your ability, and that it's correct, and that you're allowing Clarion to review your application and communicate through around the scholarship and any employment opportunities after the close of the application period. Once you click these through, you'll then be able to submit your application and you'll be all done. What you'll do then from there is you'll get an email reminding you that you've submitted, saying thank you very much for submitting your application. You'll then get updates from ourselves on next steps. So again, the applications close on the 5th of July. You can expect by the end of July an update, whether you've been shortlisted or you've been unsuccessful. If you have been unsuccessful and you need additional support, you please reach out. Don't just sit on it. We're here to support any stage in the journey, before or after or during. So that's about where we are at. I'm just going to quickly jump back into the Zoom and see if there's any questions. It doesn't look like there's any questions. I hope the application process was pretty clear. We try and make this as streamlined as possible for you all. We are aware that for some of you, this will be your first time navigating an application of this type. So again, I can't reiterate enough, please don't Please don't just sit on it. If you've got questions, reach out. I'm happy to offer some additional support from my side. And as well, we've got some great support from Clarion with some additional layers of support. We are, I think, running a couple more sessions as well. So please make sure you sign up to them. But hopefully this has felt pretty straightforward in terms of what we're expecting from the application. So I'm here to answer any questions. There is the support email at blackbullion.com. So if you have any questions that crop up, you can email them. If you want a more direct line to myself, the email is scholarships@blackbullion.com. And I'm just going to pop that in the chat. So anything around eligibility or the application, you can feel free to message me, scholarships@blackbullion.com. And then as well, I'm going to pop the link in for the fund as well. So if you guys want to follow through, you will need to be registered to Blackbullion to apply. But upon registering, you can either follow through into the funding hub and use that filter, or you can follow this link in order to always access the fund. Hopefully we've covered quite a lot today. Apologies if I've spoken too fast or covered a bit too much. If you do need additional support, please do reach out. I can't say it enough. We're really excited by this program, really grateful for Clarion for leading on this, and we hope to see you all submitting applications and hopefully majority of you being successful. So I'm going to wrap this up here. I don't know if the Clarion team wanted to say anything to finish off, but I just want to say thanks again.
Thank you, Larissa, for that. That was really, really well spoken and a lot of information in there. So on that point, there's a lot of information that was shared this afternoon. So this has been recorded and it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. So you can go back tonight and review anything that you may have missed or just queried as we go forward. Have we any last minute questions before we disappear? I don't think so. So I think we're all free to go. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your support. And thanks again, everyone, for joining us today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your Thursday. And we look forward to joining you in the next session or seeing those applications.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.